I'm back home in the Pacific Northwest after a week in Vegas for the Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons meeting. It's our annual meeting. And this year, the meeting was especially meaningful for me, and I wanted to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about what I learned and the things that it got me thinking about. Number one, I of course attended lectures and walked through the exhibit halls and looked at the posters. I had a great course for options for fixing massive rotator cuff tears, and I also learned about some newer options for addressing rotator cuff tears that were too far gone to be fixed. And I attended a symposium on the new biologics that we're using in orthopedics, so there definitely was some clinical learning going on. Number two, I realized the power of social media and the depth of its influence, that it could be used for removing barriers that previously existed. I was able to connect with multiple surgeons that up until last week I only knew virtually. And when I met them in person, it felt like we had already been acquainted for years. Number three, I learned about the power of alignment. I attended a women's roundtable breakfast and was thrilled to see how our Women in Orthopedics Facebook group had brought so many amazing women together, some of the best and brightest in the business. We talked about the state of women in orthopedics and where we hope to go in the future. And although we only met for an hour and a half, I think if we had the opportunity, we could have talked all day. Really, really honored to be in their presence. Number four, I got to see history unfold. The Academy inducted their first female president, and the electricity was palpable in the room when she gave her presidential speech. I just couldn't believe that I got to be there in person to support Dr. Christy Weber. As the women sat together, dressed in reds and whites in a sea of black and navy, I realized we've already made pretty great strides. Dr. Weber gave the most powerful speech, and she tackled some of the issues of diversity and harassment that are not always comfortable to talk about. But what I was really impressed with was that the way that she talked in a manner that unified rather than divided. Number five, I'm reminded of the importance of role models and mentors. Dr. Weber's speech had one really memorable quote, and I think I'll be using it a lot. You can't be what you can't see. And to tip the scales so that we have a more balanced and diverse workforce in orthopedics, women and underrepresented minorities have a responsibility to be visible and to serve as mentors and role models. Number six, I saw that the future can be bright, but that we, as men and women, still have a lot of work to do. This week, I simultaneously felt so hopeful for our future, but I also simultaneously witnessed bias and misogyny, sometimes subtle and sometimes not. I had somebody tell me to my face that women are oversensitized to inequity, and that maybe in an instance where I did not get good instruction, whereas the new male student next to me did, by the same resident, was really just a matter of likability, which I don't buy. I also sat in a lecture that used a derogatory term against women by the lecturer in the slides. And that was very disappointing. And it really made me think we still have a long way to go in many senses. But I also realized the importance of men as allies, because women can't do this alone. I had a long and a really meaningful conversation with one such leader and felt hope that the tides can shift so that we can be treated as equals. It was a long week, and I'm simultaneously exhausted and energized, which is why it took me a couple days to finally get it together to put this video, even though I've been back for a couple days. I returned home to Portland, ready to get back to my family and my patients, while now also having these exciting partnerships and projects on the horizon as a result of getting together and collaborating with my fellow orthopedic surgeons. So that's it for now. I hope this gives you a good sense of what my week was like. Thanks for watching.